Hey folks, Dave here, and welcome back to City Skylines. At first glance, this might look like Freshwater Falls, and it does say Freshwater Falls in the title, and that was my long-term city build here on YouTube with you guys that I've been working on since the game launched. But what this actually is a rebuild of Freshwater Falls. Let me just zoom out of this burning farming district here and show you guys how things are looking. It's definitely smaller in scale, but it has some design similarities with our previous version. And the reason that I've had to do this redesign is I had way too many very old and outdated mods still installed for the game. After the last patch, a number of these mods just kind of exploded, and a lot of my save games just for this city got corrupt. That kind of sucks, but at least I have the build on YouTube to go back and enjoy. Kind of a history of a lost city at this point. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and just end this city in this episode. I'm going to give you guys a tour of the new version that I've built here. We're going to work on it just a bit and then probably put Freshwater Falls aside. I was very happy with the design that we had before, and I'm really happy with this updated version as well, and I'm ready to move on to probably some other City Skylines projects. Hope you guys are as excited for that as I am. This has been a ton of fun, the game remains a ton of fun, and now that I've trimmed down my mod collection, I should be able to avoid those save game corruption issues in the future. Let's hope at least. So here is what we're looking at for the main core of the city. It's actually not on the original side of the river like it was in the first version. I've decided to put the downtown across the river this time, and I've pushed it right up against the boundaries of the map as I have it right now. Once again, I have a very robust train and bus system trying to cut down on some of this traffic around the city. Over here on the riverside, I have more two-lane bridges bringing traffic across the river to that downtown section. Got a few crossings over the railroad like that. Closer to the highway, we have a very small town feeling downtown area, which includes a train station here, some commercial, some parks, some nice low density residential areas over here, and thankfully some of our railroad bridges over in the center of town have remained. That was one of my favorite features from the last version, and as you guys can see here, I'll pause time, I've installed a steam engine train mod. Now this is a German, I believe, steam engine, but it kind of fits that Appalachian feel. Let's follow him for a minute. Not all of the passenger trains are like that. You can see one going by that's got the electric right there, and occasionally, like the one right there going by on the other track, they are going backwards. But it's a cool addition to a old school mountainous city here in the south. Heritage steam passenger train, a very fun mod. I think it's actually the only steam engine mod out there right now. I'll have to keep an eye out for any American steam engine mods that come along. Definitely fits the city. Going back over here, the highway ramps feed off of our main expressway and into that downtown section with the train station. There's a decent amount of traffic coming in right here, but it seems to be flowing pretty well. Got a lot of intersections right there that could be improved, but it was a lot worse before. Trust me on that one. And because the farming areas haven't really changed a lot, once again we have a large farm section right here next to the highway. One thing that has changed though is that we are running version 2.0 of my Appalachia terrain. Additions include some new water sources, and the name Freshwater Falls definitely fits a lot better with these waterfalls over here. I also tweaked some of the highways that you start with in the map, and increased the height of some of the original water sources to prevent you from running completely out of water, as some people reported to me that with the original version of this terrain, the water would run out eventually. And I've gone back to that highway system over here, the 40-mile-an-hour one-way street highway system. Basically, it's a divided highway with farms, but this time I went with more of a wavy design for the whole entire highway system, just to kind of flow with the terrain better. Besides the two one-way streets, there is a two-way street just off to the side here is kind of a third tier of this farming community, and they're in need of a lot more workers. That might be the first thing that I work on. For the last bit of the tour of the new version, guys, here is once again a large factory section across the tracks on the original side of the river that you start on. And there goes a backwards train. We got a few coal power plants stuck right in there, and an oil power plant, and this time some incineration plants right here on the riverside. And I am going to have to watch and make sure that I don't pollute the water with all this industry, because all of my water intakes are right here for now. And of course, I still do have some downtown-ish area on this side of the river. Got a train station right here with a lot of elevated walking platforms. This train station does, I think, around 800 passengers per week in transportation. That's not bad at all. Outside of that, this area is pretty compact. I've got a horseshoe ramp system here to bring traffic off the highway and get it back onto the highway. That comes down to the avenue right here at the train station. Here's one of those steam engines. And from there, traffic can split across the 6-lane avenue this way or this way. Got some commercial, some apartments, soccer field, and then over here, more apartments. Got our high school, and some connecting roads. Now this is visually interesting, but as you guys can see, the traffic is starting to build up a bit. I might have to rethink part of this. To finish things off on this side, just some suburbs with a sunken railroad track that comes back around to reconnect with the main line over here on this side. One thing that might look a bit different is I found some really great American style low density residential models, and I've installed, I think, the entire collection. So you guys are going to see a lot more American style houses, especially on maps like this. In one of the latest patches for the game, they do have the option for European style cities, but anything outside of that tile set selection when you start a new city should use these new American houses. They really do fit in super well. This is like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood over here. This is great. That about sums up the original side of the river that you start on. Looking across here, we have a instantly noticeable traffic issue, even with a 2-lane road, feeding traffic into the main downtown section. Got lots of steep hills and low density residential over here. We have our apartments, and we've got high density commercial, and some 4-lane roads that feed all of that. Traffic's not too bad once you get into the actual city itself. There are 2 train stations on this side. This kind of corner one right here next to the park area does some pretty brisk business. I think it's also hitting around 600 to 800 passengers per week, even though it says 65 right now. Lots of elevated walkways to get passengers in and out of the station. That elevated track comes around this way, loops right through the city itself, through some commercial areas and apartments, and over to the main train station right here, perched on top of this hill. This one does around, I think, 500 passengers per week. Whew, some frame rate drops there. There's a elevated walkway system again. This one, though, feeds across a good chunk of the city from both sides of the avenue right there. Some seriously steep hills in here. Almost this entire section of the city right here has walkways for people to walk right to the train station. And for those that are too far away, I have a really intense bus system that has buses going to every major point and ending at transportation hubs like those train stations. For the rest of the city, it's just a nice mix of commercial and residential. Then it feeds over here to a highway system right at the end of this avenue. I do like these connection shapes right here where the highways just branch right off the avenues. It comes out into the countryside here and passes over the new waterfall river system. Might consider this the actual freshwater falls right here. Then it goes up the hill and over a short bridge section here to reconnect with the main highways. To provide jobs and goods for this downtown section, there's a lot of industry that's based around these railroad trestles that come out of the station. That's definitely an elevated station there on top of the mountain. Got a small highway pass there, a little tiny bridge. This area provides a lot of industrial jobs for this side of the river, even if they're not super high tech. Well, I think that sums up what you're looking at right here for version 2.0 of Freshwater Falls. And I am noticing that I have loaded the incorrect save. I'm a few minutes behind. That's why the city is still called West Valley. So let me load my save game from 10 minutes into the future past this one, and we'll go ahead and get started on some improvements for the city and wind down the saga of Freshwater Falls. And here we go with Freshwater Falls version 2.0. Need to solve this lack of worker crisis over here. First things first. I think one more row of apartments would definitely help. I'm not sure if these guys have water yet. I'm gonna bet no. Not quite. Where else can I add some houses? Perhaps some suburbs back here. There we go. That's a pretty interesting shape. And now for their water as well. That should add a good amount of jobs, I think. It does look like we have some traffic back up here with trucks mainly coming off of this side road. I bet if I added their own ramp, that would help a bunch. I'll do a circle ramp. Let's see if that does the trick. Yep, there goes some. Okay, so I have a weird issue now where cars are turning off of the road to turn left. So what I need to do is make this ramp not be the shortest path from this part of the road right here to the highway. So I'll just make it over on this side instead. That should do the trick. And boom, those apartments filled up quickly. You guys could use more elementary schools, I can see that. High schools, you're okay. Someone's complaining of noise down here. Yeah, that is a lot of traffic. I'll take you guys out here on the corner and replace you with a park. For our next challenge, this awful traffic problem. It's backing up all the way into the original downtown area. Ooh, and the exit as well. So what needs to happen is an actual highway that connects with the main highway. That's the only way to get this traffic under control. I think I changed some of the terrain back here in the new version of this terrain too. I don't remember this giant pit over here. But I'm not sure if I actually expanded past this line in version 1.0 anyway. Okay, there's that. And you know what? I think I'm gonna go with some one-way roads. Let's do just traditional roads. That go like that. And perhaps one that ducks up this way as well. Okay. Now, I'm trying to remember, did I have resources, like natural resources in this pit? I did. This is actually a relatively significant ore deposit. So I will mark this as, let's see, ore industry. Heather District, What's a better name for an ore mining facility? I guess it could be freshwater related. But I'll just go with a cheesy name for now until I can think of anything better. Let's just go with mountains. Whoop. Mount Sim. What am I typing here? Oh, the wrong part of the keyboard. My microphone is right in the way. Mountains Bounty. And I should probably save it once I type it. There we go. Keeping with the one-way streets theme. Do that. And that. Given that the ore is pretty spread out through here, I think... I really can't do residential along this highway right here, because pollution is going to be insane from that mine. Instead, I'm going to have a secondary road over here. That'll connect, let's say, here as well. That's where some low rent apartments are going to go. These guys won't get any kind of parks or fancy stuff like that. And we'll do low density down through here. There's just no space for anything else. Okay. And now commercial. Wow, people are moving in quickly. Commercial down through here. And once again, the point of all this is not just the mining, but to get that highway connection going. Don't want to lose focus. This pipe over here is glitched and keeps giving me a slope to steep error everywhere. Close enough. I feel sorry for anybody that lives over here. Because once we get a bit of commercial in here as a buffer, we're going to have mines all the way through here. And I feel like we're wasting money on these nice grassy roads in the industrial section of the city. Let's just downgrade those until you get to the nicer part of the city. And one more road that goes down into the pit for mining. That's looking pretty good. The district is painted. I'll expand that just a bit. Of course, there's one house that has no water. Okay. Looking at the route that the roadway is going to take, I really don't want to see any more dense city over in this part. I like how mountainous and just rugged it is. So what I'll do is just take this avenue here, extend it like this, a few more commercial areas on the end here. How is education looking? A bit low again. But I think these guys are okay. They could use a small fire station though. That I can give them. Let the ore mining begin. Okay, so I don't have this tile over here. It's out of my city limits, which means I'm going to have to come this way with the highway. And I don't feel like any kind of fancy bridges really fit this. Just one long, boring road. Also, wow, I'm getting 17,000 per week. Let's bring our taxes down here. That should keep our people happy. And I'll bring the highway down like this. And now we're just going to follow the terrain. Not bad. And now for the opposite direction. That looks pretty good right there. How do I get rid of these bridges? Oh, just turn it a bit. There we go. Go away, Snap. And up the hill we go. Okay. Now for the on-ramps. Wait. This is an off-ramp for this highway. So you need to go like this. You go like this. That's an awkward ramp shape, but that works for now. And that's just not great, but I think it works okay. A little strange looking. And there we go, highway is connected. Immediately we have a nice amount of traffic heading down it. Oop, and we're at the limits of our power once again. Time for another oil power plant. Or perhaps something else. Let's do a solar power plant out here at the edge of town. That's cool. I'm looking for a good spot for a dam, and I'm wondering if this might be one right here. We've got some money to spare, but I think I'll make a save game before we try anything crazy. I also need some garbage and some facilities over here near Mountain's Bounty, and I think I'll do a bit of that first. We'll do a large recycling center, maybe a small one. Yeah, small one. Somewhere. Road is too curvy. Oh well. Do a church instead. As well as a few crypts. This is one super depressing entrance to the city. You pass a bunch of graveyards and crypts, and then an industrial mining complex. Check that out. Some grim looking Soviet style apartments before you finally get to the nicer parts of downtown. Well, I just connected that highway and we reached 38,000 population and got our next terrain tile. Ooh, we're also running low on water availability. I'll add one more pump over here. And then a few towers as well. Let's not put a tower right there though. That pollution is insane. There we go. There's a water tower, and one more over here. That one needs a power line, though. And you need a power line for the water pump. Okay. So, next up. Wow, we have tons of money. I'll make a save game, and we'll experiment with putting that dam down, but I'll tell you what, guys, I'm really liking how this is looking. I might even like this design better than the original. I do miss my awesome monolithic downtown over here with all of its carefully designed streets, but this is pretty nifty. Before I get to that dam, it looks like some citizens are getting kind of sick from the pollution. Let's put a band-aid on that with a cheap medical clinic nearby. Deal with it, people. It's a mining complex. An ugly, ugly scar on the city, it looks like. Traffic has improved over here, but I still think there are things we can do to help that in just a few minutes. First of all, though, our grand experiment. $96,000 for the dam. Let's make it 120. Here we go. The water builds up. While I wait to see if that works, let's look for those traffic issues. Oh yeah. Some of these intersections need to go. Yeah, I think a big problem is this exit from the highway here. The traffic just has a lot of small side streets to go down. If I could somehow get a piece of highway to go around. And my population's not going to like this one. An elevated highway may help this issue that we're having. Call it a bypass. Just a slight curve there, and then let's level it out here. Ooh. Or before that, that's a crazy hill. There it is. So that brings you off of the highway onto this crazy rolling road. Speaking of crazy, that curve was nuts. There we are. Looks like so many of those cars are trying to get right to downtown, but I am seeing traffic picking up on the bypass. Might actually try to level that out just a bit. It looks a bit funky. I'll put one fancy looking bridge just right there. There's that piece. That's a lot more level. Yeah, that looks a lot better. "36 meters off of the riverbed. That's more reasonable. Yeah, much better. How about our dam over here? Still 0 megawatts of electricity. The water is still backing up though. I'm hoping that we'll get to a point where it'll be producing power, but this river is a bit shallow. I also have to watch for backflow, which is what we're getting right here. To prevent backflow, I'm going to just waste money on a second dam. Just to prevent water flow. Basically make it into a lock system. It may be temporary, I hope so. Oh, that's quite the hill there. Okay, so that's cut off, which means that these water pumps are going to actually drain that pretty quickly, unless this one starts flowing again. I don't know, guys. I think the dam experiment may be a failure. You know what? I've got money to spend. It's the last episode. Let's go crazy. Find a dam that'll work. That one's gonna have some height to it. Alright. People are actually using the bypass. And traffic has not really cleared up over here. Yep, still tons of people going through the main street over here, and that train station is still doing brisk business. It's the cars I'm worried about, though. That 2-lane feeder road is just dropping them right there into the industrial section. Well, I bet I can solve that. Let's give the bypass an off-ramp to the industrial section. Maybe a ramp to join it as well. Yeah. Come on, guys. Take less traffic. Yeah, wow, there's still a ton of traffic right here. I think the key to this section is going to be getting rid of this bridge right here. It's causing more problems than I want. Everyone's trying to take the easy route. I really do wonder how much of that traffic is industrial. Let's watch and see how that clears up. There's my overlay. Lots of cars feeding down that way. Oh, right. Okay, I see what's happening here. Anyone coming from all of these houses over here, they hit this street, it's one way. They have to go down this way. That's a design failure on my part. Two-lane roads aren't always the solution. Let me add a two-lane road here, even though I just said that, to force cars out this end of this neighborhood. That seems to be clearing up a lot. Wow, that's a lot of people. They do love their walk bridges here in Freshwater Falls version 2.0. Is the water level still rising? And we are losing water quickly as well. Time for some pumps down here. I've almost drained that section of water near downtown. I don't want to pull from the reservoirs that I'm trying to build, but that's shutting down a lot of sources. Is this plant producing yet? No. It's still building up. How about this dam right here? Still 0, but the water's getting up there. I wonder if I made it too tall. I'm gonna pause it here. Try to lower that just a bit. There we go. That won't give us much power, but let's try it out. I need to get some water flowing again. I have drained the riverbed. This is a disaster. There we go. Industrial traffic is flowing once again. The problem now is the lack of escape route for the traffic. It's all trying to get back to the highway over surface streets. That is clogging stuff up. I would bet, though, that I can make a highway that goes like this. And heads back. That park has to be moved, though. And over this way. And to a single ramp. That has turned into quite the highway system, but hey, I see people taking that ramp already. One-way street. Let's connect up this way. It's a church right there. That should do it, though. And a one-way street like this. Just trying to clear up some of that industrial traffic. There we go, 32 megawatts of power. The dam is operational. Ooh, I'm glad I lowered it because we are flooding some of the tracks over here. Time for a water pump. Awesome, so the water's flowing again. I can finally destroy this stupid dam right here. After all that was just to prevent the tidal wave of sewage from backflowing like that. These pumps might want to go away for a while. At least until the sewage stops overpowering the fresh water from the dam. That's a sludgy color right there. But hey, look at that. Less traffic on this bridge. Steady traffic, but at least it's not backed up into downtown. Still a good bit of traffic on these surface streets, but for the most part, it's also not backed up. And I think this is going to become a one-way road. It is a mess right there. And this will be the exit from the industrial area. Whew. It appears that I have confused things for these buses down here. That's still a bit of a mess. I think one thing that would help a lot is I'm gonna just delete this bridge that was just a band-aid before, really. I was just trying to get some of that traffic out of the area. And I'm going to replace that with a bridge that goes to the highway. That's an ugly piece of bridge right there. There we are. As usual, a bit strange looking, but it does the job. Put that there. Is that going to... Oh, that's going to create a stoplight. Don't want to do that. So instead, a ramp. Yeah, I'm still seeing lots and lots of traffic trying to take these one-way bridges out of the downtown section. We have a whirlpool going on here too. I'm going to connect our dam road over here with the rest of the city. Gotta follow that terrain to avoid those ridiculous mini bridges. And then we'll add a ramp right here. I doubt many people are going to take that road, but we'll see. Tell you what though guys, like I said, I am really happy with how this redesign has turned out. That's a visually pleasing and functional city. I already have ideas with how I would expand it, but given that this is essentially a reboot, I don't want to build the entire city over again. I can just play the same one forever, and I'm ready to move on to other projects, I think. This has been just a ton of fun though. You guys can find the version 2.0 of this Appalachia terrain on my Steam workshop, that is Evil Viking 13. And yeah, I think I'm gonna call it right here, guys. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video. And in the case of City Skylines, we'll have to see which kind of video that's going to be.